All right, what's up, everyone? Just going to wait for more people to enter the chat. But today we're going to talk about how to reduce some bloating. Okay. Um, I had people who do complain about bloating. I've also dealt with bloating from time to time. And then I've had people with chronic bloating issues like Crohn's disease and things like that. So today we're going to go ahead and do that. But while we get into it, let's wait for just some people to enter the chat. Okay. Um, so we'll just wait for that for a little bit. I see people from Instagram are showing up. Someone asked, why do I follow Charlie Kirk? Because I want to. That's why. Like, I like what he has to say, you know, whatever. You know, like when people ask me why I follow certain people, I always think like, you know, like I'm a human being. I have other interests in my life. You know, I don't have to be on the same line just because I'm plant-based and vegan. Some people kind of have this template of what a vegan is supposed to be, you know, and like who they're supposed to follow, who they should vote for, things like that. And that's not the reality. You know, veganism isn't like me. That it's not. That doesn't describe who Corinne Sutton is. It's just a part of me. Okay. There's many different things. And I like Charlie Kirk because some of the things he talks about is real. Like he talks about certain things. And if someone's like about to say like if you're about to tell me about like, well, he's against veganism, which I already knew you were gonna say that shit. Like, who cares? You know what I mean? Like he's against veganism. Okay, so what? That's one thing that he disagrees versus all the other things I agree with. So it doesn't make him as a bad guy. So it doesn't really bother me. You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing. So that's why I follow him, because he goes against the narrative. He goes against views and standpoints that he talks about. I mean, I don't really want to go so deep into it, but that's all it is. You know what I mean? Yeah, there you go. You follow people who eats meat too. Yeah, there you go. So like, there you go, man. You know, like yeah, you know. So that's how it is. You know, because like I like even during the elections, I had people unfollow me because like some of the presidents and like and representatives I was following, and they were sending me DMs and shit. Like that shit doesn't bother me. I'm just like, yo, if you're unfollowing me because I follow someone and you disagree, like you were never really supporting me anyway. You're flaky, and if you're that type of individual, it says a lot of who you are personally. You know, like you don't create real relationships. You don't create real connections with people. You know, so when I saw that during the elections, it was the same shit. You know what I mean? Like I was just like, whatever, man. Yeah, like unfollow me, like whatever. Like you don't even have to DM me, just do it. You know, like you don't have to let me know. Like you think I give two shits about you? Like why do I care if you unfollow me? Why do you even tell me? Like just do it. Like I think a lot of people could agree with that. It's like, yeah, especially people that has a following. So I think a lot of people could agree with that. Like, yo, like, why you have to let me know that you're unfollowing me? Like, if you're letting me know personally, it's probably because I didn't even know you were following me in the first place. So, like whatever, you know. So that's how it is. Well, let's get into it. Let's go into like the bloating situation. Okay. So like when it comes to bloating, we can get bloating from many different things. And the reality is this: when it comes to bloating, some bloating can be reduced by consuming fiber, but some people can reduce bloating by eating too much fiber. So one of the things I always say, if you've been following me for a long time, is first track the foods. Use MyFitnessPal, start tracking everything you consume. Because that's once you start tracking, you can kind of figure out on your own what's going on. Like what I hate to hear is when people tell me like, I think beans get me bloated, but is it the beans? Like how do you know if you're not tracking what you eat? You know, like some people just kind of think of what it is, but they don't know exactly the real problem if they're not tracking what they're eating, because it could have been something previously before the beans until they got the bloating. Or maybe their fiber intake was already high enough, and then once they incorporated the beans, that's what went overboard, right? So we're going to go ahead and talk about that stuff as well, because and to be honest with you, when it comes to bloating, not all of it is dietary. You know, some of it could be stress related as well, or just consuming too much sodium. But we're going to break it down, okay? So first, let's talk about like some quick fixes when it comes to bloating. So one thing is that you could walk it out, right? Like if you feel bloated, you feel like you're retaining a lot of water, do a simple walk, like walk about like 10, 20 minutes. That can help with the gas and get everything moving throughout your system. Okay. That's one thing you could do. Another thing, this is something that I used to, this is like a bodybuilding trick. I would just lay down and take a nap, you know? So if you have some time to rest, like just laying down and taking a quick like power nap, that can help reduce bloating as well. Because sometimes when you're just stressed out, and this could be stress related, could be food related. Sometimes when you're just stressed, but I notice when you're stressed, if you kind of just lay back, relax, not worry about it, and then you get your mind off of things, that relaxation can actually help reduce bloating as well. Another thing, it could be like teas, right? Like doing like a peppermint tea. That can really help relax the GI muscles and reduce spasm, reducing that bloating. Okay. And this is like if you're already bloated. Okay. So this is something that you could do. Another bodybuilding trick, I don't highly recommend it, but it is something it does work. Sometimes, again, like I told you, sometimes being bloated, you could retain a lot of water. Taking like some natural diuretics that can actually help reduce the water, get a lot of that extra water out of your body. But the thing is when you do this type of when you take like some like natural supplementation when it comes to diuretics, you want to be also pounding water too. So you can't just take it and then expect the water like to just seep out because you took the pills. Like you have to be like pounding some water and then take it, and then it kind of helps throughout time. Now, the only time I really take like natural diuretics is when I'm getting ready for a bodybuilding show, or if I have a photo shoot. You know, that's the only time I do it, and I usually don't do it a day of. But there has been times where, you know, drastic times come from drastic measures, if that makes sense. So I would have to take it for the show because maybe I was stressed, I didn't sleep well that night. So I had to take something to help reduce the water retention. Okay. Another thing you could do is heating pads. Okay. Heating pads can also help as well. Then also drinking more teas or just water with lemon or ginger in it. They both aid in digestion and also reduce a lot of inflammation as well. Okay. So those are some tips. Now, things that you could help prevent bloating, and this is probably like the best thing, right? Is preventing, is limit your foods when it creates a lot of gas. So this is where certain foods can produce a lot of gas in your stomach. So these are foods that's high in fiber, like cruciferous vegetables, like broccoli, cabbage, onions. Right now, I don't get really that affected by vegetables. Okay. But when it comes to beans, you want to soak your beans. Now, with beans, for me, I don't really get affected at all with that as well. But I know people like my girlfriend, she gets affected by beans. When she eats beans, she gets very gassy, very bloated. So, and one of the reasons is because the beans weren't soaked long enough. So it's like, and when I say this, is, for example, I don't want to say the brand out, but like if we bought like pre-made beans, right? The pre-made beans, I don't think the ones that I usually get the pre-made, when I get something pre-made like microwavable, I don't think that brand actually soaked their beans a long time. The reason I'm not saying the name because I don't know if this is true, you know, but I don't have any problems with it. But she does. Her stomach. But when if I cook the beans and I soaked it, now when I cook them homemade, I let them first. I let them soak overnight, right? Once I let them soak overnight, I rinse them off and then pressure cook it. And then when I serve it to my girlfriend, like homemade, she don't get bloating. All right. So it's something between, they're both beans. I mean, if we both made black beans, one company makes it versus homemade. Why is mine's better than not causing bloating for her? But then when she eats the pre-made, she gets bloating. And I think it's because they don't soak them long enough. Like, because a good soak is like overnight, at least 8 to 12 hour soak. That's like a good soaking to prep beans. So that's one thing you could limit. Okay, so you have to kind of check it out, because even when people go, like, I've heard things with new vegans or people who's trying to transition more to a plant-based diet, right, from a meat-based diet, or they're trying to reduce their animal intake to incorporate more plants. People will complain about certain foods affecting their stomach, getting a lot of gas, getting a lot of bloating. Now, one tip that I usually say when it comes to that stuff is, when you, and this is just coming from my intake, when it comes from people who goes from one diet and they're transitioning or incorporating more plant-based foods into their diet. Usually these individuals usually don't have a high fibrous diet in the first place. Because if they're incorporating more vegetables, that means in the first place they weren't eating enough, right? So they don't know how much fiber they were usually getting. Now, by average, according to multiple studies that's out there, it states that the average American only gets about 5 to 10 grams of dietary fiber per day. Okay. So if someone's coming from like more of an animal-based diet, or, just a regular diet, just eating meat or whatever, but they're not incorporating a lot of plants in the first place, it's probably because their fiber intake is very low in the beginning. So by incorporating some of those plants into their diet, like broccoli, cabbages, beans, rice, things that has more fiber, that can create a lot of gas and bloating in the beginning. So again, this is where tracking really comes into play, because if you find out when it starts, it's not, because people are quick to especially these days, they're quick to demonize a food item just because they start farting a lot, right? And some people don't understand that gas is and passing gas and farting is natural. People are very quick to like say, no, it's bad for me because I get bloated, I start gassing a lot, versus getting upset and blaming the food. I always say, maybe it's not the food, maybe you have a poor digestive system. And this is what some people get very lost in, is that they don't understand, if you're on a low fiber diet, right, is because your digestive system, your gut microbiome is actually very weak. And if you have a strong digestive system or a strong microbiome, you're able to break down higher fibrous foods. Now, versus like eliminating certain foods out, your body can adapt to higher fibrous diets, but it takes time. And I've done this with people that's on Crohn's disease, because I had a client who was eating junk food, literally eating junk food and highly processed foods, because it has zero fiber, and anything that had a lot of fiber in it, like vegetables and stuff, would create gas and bloating to the extreme where it was painful, because she has Crohn's. So Crohn's is like an autoimmune disease, especially where the digestive system is very poor. So what we did was we found out how much fiber the individual could actually eat. And then we found out, like, in the beginning, it was up to like 10 to 15, where there was no problems as long we kept the fiber there. And then every month, we slowly brought it up by 5 grams of dietary fiber, until the gut was able to break down to the normal recommendations, which is still small, which is about 32 to 34 grams of dietary fiber per day. So she's able to eat more plant-based foods, more fruits, more vegetables into her diet, and eat foods that's more healthy, more nutrient dense with Crohn's, versus always going back to like white breads and mac and cheese, like just because it has no fiber, and she just needs food to nourish herself. You know what I'm saying? Or nourish this individual. So these are things that you could do as well when it comes to bloating. Or if you find out like, oh, I just started eating more vegetables, I'm getting gas, I'm getting bloating, track, see how much you normally eat first. Even if you eat animal-based foods, like turkey and beef and steak, all that stuff, see how much you actually eat in the beginning, see how much fiber you're actually getting, and then after that, then start incorporating the high fibrous foods into your diet. And if you notice like, oh man, I was only getting about 10 grams of fiber, like Coach Corinne said, all right, let me start off small and start off like 5 grams per month. Okay. And then slowly build yourself up, slowly start adding those foods in your diet, and then see if your body actually reacts to those high fibrous food. And I want to be honest, what I'm telling you might sound very slow. You're probably like, man, I just want to eat beans and I want to eat whatever I want. Like, why can't I do it? Because if you just do it that way, and then you find out that you get a lot of gas and bloating where it's ridiculous, then you're just going to not like vegetables at all, or don't like high fibrous foods, and you're going to go right back to the same diet which made you more complacent in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? So that's something that I usually teach people, especially when it comes down to these type of foods. Another food that can create bloating is going to be like carbonated drinks. That's pretty obvious because it's carbonated water is drinks with carbonation in it. So that's normally going to create gas and bloating automatically. Now, depending on certain individuals, artificial sweeteners, okay, that can create a lot of gas and bloating, especially in gum. Now, here's the thing. The thing about gum is that I won't blame gum 100% for gas and bloating, just because it might have some artificial sweetener in it. It's like sorbitol or erythritol. You know what I'm saying? I'm not just going to blame it on that. If you're chewing gum, you're, and this is one of the reasons why I don't chew gum, right? With gums, what you're doing is when you're chewing, first you're allowing a lot of air go inside your stomach, but then also at the same time, you're activating your digestive system. So once you start chewing something, like you're eating, your digestive system starts to turn on, because getting ready, like it starts bubbling, like all the acid starts bubbling up. It starts getting ready to break down food, right? So once it enters, it doesn't have to activate. It's already active and is ready to break it down. Okay. So, but when you're chewing gum, you're tricking your digestive system to turn on, and there's nothing going down there. You know what I'm saying? So just when your digestive system is on and you're not really incorporating no food, you're just kind of swallowing your spit, right? That can also create a lot of gas and bloating. It's one reason why I stopped chewing gum. This was something I learned in bodybuilding. They're like, never chew gum. Yeah, they always tell you don't chew gum if you do bodybuilding, because you're going to always, like, you want to be flat, have a real flat stomach when you're flexing and stuff. Never chew gum. So it's one of the reasons why I stopped. So I'm not going to blame it only on artificial sweeteners, because that's going to vary for every individual. But if you're chewing gum that has artificial sweeteners, gums can actually incorporate that. Now, dairy can actually promote inflammation in the gut, and that's usually for people who's lactose intolerant. Okay, which according to the National Health Association, they said that over, I believe it was like 70 to 80%. I believe it's 70% of the world is lactose intolerant. So it's a big number. And it's funny that we sell so much milk, there's so much dairy products and everything. But dairy is so addicted to a lot of people that even people that's lactose intolerant, they still consume dairy anyways. You know what I'm saying? That's how addicted most people are with dairy. Now, before I continue, let me just check to make sure there's any more questions. Someone asked how long the beans should be soaked. Again, about like you know, I would soak them at least 8 hours. You know what I'm saying? That's how long I would soak them. Because like with beans, um, and the reason we want to soak them a little bit long is because there's compounds in there that actually make people gassy and bloated. All right, so it's like the lectins that's in there. Okay, so you want to break down the lectins, and that's what's going to by soaking it, and that's what's going to help with that. Someone asks if iodine actually create bloating. Is that what you're saying? I don't think so. I don't think iodine really creates bloating. Um, yeah, I don't think so. No, I know if you eat too much salt, yes, like just sodium in general, yeah, that can help with that can cause bloating, but um, not iodine by itself. No. And then let's see. And then also dehydration. Okay, not drinking enough water. I'll go ahead and continue. Not drinking enough water. That can actually create a lot of bloating as well. Well, someone said, Jason said, is almond milk a good alternative to cow milk? Yeah, you could do almond milk. You do soy milk. I'm more of a soy milk person, not so much almond, and that's just because soy milk has more protein in it. But you could do almonds. You can do oat milk. You can do cashew milk. There's so many different alternatives you can do. And Jason also asked, do you think parasites infections like tapeworm? Oh yeah, if you have a parasite in your stomach, yeah, you. But see, the thing is, they have to know that they have a parasite. So and most people won't know until they tried everything first to reduce the bloating, and then nothing helps. And some people that have like parasites or certain type of worms in their gut, some people just can't eat. Some people can't take a poop. They're always backed up. They haven't taken a poop in a while, for a few days or something like that. It's usually something that's really off. You know what I'm saying? Or if they're eating, they never feel full. They're like, I just don't feel full, like no matter what I'm eating. Usually those are signs of parasites. You know what I'm saying? So that's that. But this is really, when it comes to parasites and tapeworms and stuff like that. This isn't really common in the U.S. That's more common in third world countries and stuff where like when it comes to food and water, it's not sanitized right. That's where you're going to really find those issues. But in a first world country, it's not really known. Even though like parasite detoxes and stuff is thrown around a lot in the U.S. And again, it's one of the things I really feel sad about, because we use a lot of fear mongering tactics to try to get people thinking that, like, if they got something in their body. But I always tell individuals, when they think they have a gut issue, like, go to a gastroenterologist and get your shit checked out. Like, stop trying to figure it out on your own. Just go to the doctor. They got everything. They can literally stick a camera up your asshole to see if you got something in there. So I don't understand why people like they just listen to the internet all the time, and then they get fear mongered by like gurus and health nuts talking about like you have to detox your body if you eat meat, and like, this is ridiculous. Like, I've even had prospects or clients, not really clients, more prospects, like people who, like, if I'm on a sales call and I have someone who's about to join the program, they'll tell me like, hey, Corinne, like, I want to join, but I want to do this 30-day juice detox because I think I got parasites in me. I'm like, look, and I'm like, you think you got parasites, or do you know? Like, do you or you don't? Like, you can't just do something because you think. Like, it's either you do or you don't. Like, why are you listening to Miss Jane that wears crystals all over the place, fearing you that you need to do a detox just because you used to eat meat? and now you're trying to transition to a plant-based diet, like you probably don't have anything wrong with you. Like more than likely, probably nothing's wrong with you. Just if you think you have something, go to a gastroenterologist. You know, let someone who's studying the field of digestion look through your gut or stick a camera up your asshole, see if there's anything in there, and that's it. All the bloating is probably just because you're fat. Like that's the reality. I mean, I don't go that deep, but like sometimes I just be like, if you go, I am a little bit nicer on the calls. I'm just like, hey man, like, if you did just a plant-based diet, I mean, that's going to be an automatic detox already. You know what I'm saying? You're eating alkaline foods anyway, so that's going to be its natural detox. But you don't have to literally like do a juice cleanse. You just don't. And juices are good. Like I make juices. I just made a bunch of juice videos myself. I want to do a little detox 1 week thing, but that's it. Like no more than a week. And the reason I feel like at least a week could be good because that could give your digestion some rest, and then you can kind of like flush your stomach out with more juices, but not like not no parasite shit. Like I don't like selling gimmicks, and just selling shit that fear people. Because I know, like, if you did at least a week, that can reduce the inflammation from your stomach, make your stomach a little bit smaller. Also, just get a lot of junk out, like a lot of crap that you're eating, get that stuff out of you. Like that type of detox, yeah, you're drinking more water, you're getting some vitamins, minerals, really shrink your stomach, things like that. I feel that's fine. And also you can lose a good amount of weight because you're doing a bunch of cold pressed juices and shots. It's not a lot of calories in it anyways. So that can help reduce a lot of bloating, inflammation, and also help you lose some fat. So it's a good way to, like, if you're like very heavy or something like that, like 300 pounds, I mean, you could lose good 10, 20 pounds right off the first week of a juice cleanse or a juice detox. But when it comes to parasites and stuff, like that's where I'm like, I don't know, man. Like I would go check and then see, like go to a medical professional, check out your gut, see if you have anything. And if not, like just do a regular detox or something like that, or just do whatever diet you're trying to do to lose weight. But I don't think it's really necessary. You know what I mean? But going back, I digress. But going back to water, yes, keeping yourself hydrated is definitely going to help with water retention, because what happens is that when you're dehydrated and you don't drink enough water throughout the day, your body starts to do the opposite. So whatever water you start to drink when you're in dehydrated state, your body starts to retain the water because you're not drinking water adequately. Okay, so that's why it's good to drink a lot of water throughout the day, so you keep your body hydrated, keep your muscles hydrated, and then it reduces water retention. Okay, then also good things that can help with the gut microbiome to help prevent bloating. Again, high fibrous foods if your body can handle it, but because that's where you're going to get a lot of your pre and probiotics naturally. But then if it's like let's say you can't handle a lot of it, but you still want to try to heal the gut, then do fermented foods like sauerkraut, kimchi, miso, kombucha. This can really help build a good gut microbiome. Okay. But only thing I would say is, like, especially with kombucha, like the thing with kombucha has a lot of probiotics in it. I don't recommend drinking kombucha a lot. Like, for example, like the ones that you get in the store, that's usually like 2 servings. I would split that in half and drink a half a bottle one day, drink another bottle another day. But then try to get a rest from foods naturally, not just from like a drink like kombucha, because it has a lot in it. I would do things like that. And the only reason I say that is just because I want to be honest with you. I heard this from I should do a little bit more research on it. I should do this, but with the kombucha. But I was talking to someone who does like Ayurveda studies, and they were saying, like, if you drink too much kombucha, like it can it can do the opposite effect of your body producing its own pre and probiotics. But that, I don't know, but a little bit of me says that doesn't make sense because kombucha is coming from a mushroom, you know? So I would have to do a little bit more research on that. I mean, I could definitely get back with y'all about the kombucha myth because I don't know how much of that is actually true. But that's what I've heard, you know. Now, the only thing I would tell you is that kombucha does have caffeine in it too. So it's one of those drinks too where you don't want to be drinking it late at night because it will keep you up. All right, so that part is true, but the other part I'm not really for sure. If anyone else in the chat knows about the kombucha myth, if you drink too much kombucha, it prevent your body to create its own pre and probiotics, definitely let me know. But I don't think that that's the case because I'm like it's only a mushroom. So I don't know. Like it's almost like if you eat too much plant-based foods where that's where pre and probiotics come from is from fiber, like your body's going to stop making it. Like it wouldn't make sense because it is a real food. I will understand like a pill or something like that, but not like the foods itself. Then again, you want to manage your stress. Okay. Again, like I said in the beginning, stress plays a big role as well. So when your cortisol levels are high, or maybe it's too low, and your adrenal glands are fried, this can create a lot of bloating as well. So meditating, breath work, just taking a break, walking outside, like just trying to relax your mind can help. And then also staying active. That helps the most. Okay. If you're active, you move, that's going to help with digestion. It's going to really help prevent the gut being bloated. And I'm going to tell you, when it comes to the gut, I'll tell you this, like, and it might be a little TMI, but I stool about 3 or 4 times a day, right? So it's a lot, right? Now, part of it is this: when I'm exercising, right? I probably hit again, little TMI, but I usually do majority of my stooling in the morning, right? So since I work out first thing in the morning, like I'll see a stool once I wake up, and then I stool again, when I'm in the gym. And that's because of the moving. And that's why I'm telling you guys this. I know it's too much TMI, but I'm just telling you how my body works. It's like clockwork, right? So it's like I usually stool maybe twice in the gym, sometimes one time in the gym, and that's because I'm moving, especially if I'm doing like squats and deadlifts. Oh yeah, I really got to go like in the middle of the workout all the time, and then usually again once I have breakfast, and then sometimes depending on sometimes in the afternoon, or sometimes that would be it. Okay, so like I said, 3 or 4 times is usually the norm for me. But again, when it comes to stooling, and some people might be thinking, man, you poop a lot. But the reality is this: the more you poop, right? The more you poop, the better your digestive system is. Okay, the faster your metabolism is. All right. So that's something that gives you a good sign of a good gut, a good metabolism. Is going to be stuff like that. Is when you're pooping multiple times a day. If you're only noticing that you're only pooping 1 time a day or less than that, you really have a slow digestive system. You have a slow metabolism, and you need to get that fixed. You should be pooping more times throughout the day. All right. The more you do it, the better. All right. All right. And then let's see. I think we're almost done. Yep. That's it. So, yeah, like I said, like that's pretty much it. And then again, the only thing I would say, leaving the subject, is certain people do have chronic issues, and this is people with like IBS, SIBO, food intolerance like gluten, or some type of hormonal issues. these type of things could be underlying. So these are ones, when you have these type of particular things going on, you definitely want to see a doctor or a certified dietitian who knows how to create a diet based on that. Like I said, I work with people that had like SIBO or a food intolerant or IBS. And when we usually have that, we work with the doctors. I work with the doctor, and then we put them on a FODMAP diet. So pretty much a low fiber diet with selected foods that they can consume. And then we go ahead and create that meal plan for them. And then they just follow that and then do it from there. And then we work with the doctor because we want to know what type of medications they're eating, what foods they're allowed to eat, not eat. And then we kind of build the program around that and go from there. And then I also put in my intakes as well, since I do specialize in plant-based nutrition. So I'll put it in my take as well. And then we just go from there. And we work with the doctors or any type of dietitian and stuff like that. We work with them. Like I'm a certified nutritionist, so like we'll work with those individuals so we can make a perfect plan that's agreeable on both sides. So the individual could still get to their results, but also be able to not have that inflammation, if that makes sense. Okay, so those are things that we do. Now, what I'm going to do is go ahead and look at any questions. If anyone have any questions, all right, on Instagram, it doesn't look like we have any questions here. And then on Instagram, no questions. On YouTube, no questions. So, all right. Well, with that said, it was definitely great talking to everyone. Talk to y'all tomorrow, same time. And peace out.